You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the April 8th, 2024 meeting of the Long Beach Town Council. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Welcome everybody to the April Long Beach Town Council meeting. Let's stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The only opening remark I have is that I hear we have a lot of UConn fans in town. They all want to get home to watch the game tonight, so we're going to try to hurry. Approval of the minutes. Council meeting, March 11th. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
There we go.
I have two comments.
What?
Oh, go ahead. One of them is presidential appointment. It's Diana Holt to the APC instead of Diane. And the other is just above it. The paragraph that begins, Bartlett stated she received emails. The second by Shannon, it's the second to last sentence, and then vote is 1 to 2 did not pass. Should that be 3 to 2? What is a vote 1 to 2?
We will fix it. So I'll check and we'll fix it.
Okay,
I'll make sure which it was.
whichever it was, okay. Okay,
I think it's 2 to 2, and it's no abstaining.
that's what yeah, okay. That's all, thank you.
So, do we have a motion to approve with those corrections?
Motion to approve with those corrections, please.
Second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. A retirement recognition for Chief Deputy Marshal James Schooley. Chief?
Good evening, everyone. Can you do me a favor and let people in? I think there was one for a minute there. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we want to take some time to pay honor and recognition to our very own Chief Deputy Marshal James Schooley, who's preparing to retire in just 2 days. Sergeant James Schooley started his law enforcement career in 1994 as a part-time dispatcher at the Long Beach Police Department. In 1995, while working full-time as a dispatcher for the LaPorte County Regional Dispatch Center, Sergeant Schooley was appointed as a reserve deputy marshal with the Long Beach Police Department. On January 2nd, 1998, Sergeant Schooley was hired as a full-time deputy marshal and attended the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy in Plainfield, Indiana. Upon his graduation from the academy, he graduated top of his class, receiving the Academic Achievement Award for Basic Class 98-135, taking the top honors out of 134 law enforcement recruits that year with a grade point average of 97.4. In 1999, Sergeant Schooley was named Police Officer of the Year for the Long Beach Police Department. On January 16th, 2019, Sergeant Schooley was appointed to Chief Deputy Marshal, which is the rank he will retire this week on April 10th. Sergeant Schooley, for the last 28 years, has served the Long Beach community and the greater LaPorte County community with honor, professionalism, and with the utmost integrity for nearly 3 decades. During his career, he has served as a patrol deputy, K-9 officer with his K-9 partner Cody, an investigator, stops instructor, a ground fighting instructor, a field training officer, department's IDAX coordinator, and for many years served as the Fraternal Order of Police vice president. Sergeant Schooley has always been a role model for others, an inspiration to others who often reach out to him for guidance and support. He has shown his fellow officers how to become a better police officer, always remaining calm and collective in tense situations when faced with challenging matters at times. Since his very first day as a law enforcement professional, he has impacted countless lives in a very positive manner. And for that, we say thank you. I would like to take a moment to kind of reflect back. This morning, I spent some time going through Sergeant Schooley's personnel file. So I want all of you to think of a very younger version of Sergeant Schooley back in 2005, where he received a letter of commendation on December 12th. This letter of commendation is for your actions in apprehending a robbery suspect on May 15th, 2005. After a short vehicle pursuit, the driver exited the vehicle with you giving chase. It was not known for sure if the suspect was armed or not. After climbing several hills, you were able to apprehend the suspect without causing harm to yourself or the suspect. It gives me great pleasure to present you with this letter of commendation and award for your outstanding contribution to the police profession without regard for personal welfare or safety of such magnitude as to bring honor and recognition to yourself and the department. Please accept my thanks for your dedication. You have performed your duties in a way that any law enforcement officer would be proud to emulate. And it was signed by Chief Marshal Robert Sokowski, who's with us tonight, seated beside Sergeant Schooley. Jim, I think our meetings were a lot younger. It was easier in 2005, wasn't it?
A little bit easier.
And then on May 20th, 2012, when we look back on our law enforcement careers, and I'm sure Sergeant Schooley can attest to this, there's certain aspects of our careers that we look back on and we say, you know what, that was some of the finer years of my law enforcement profession. And I think with Sergeant Schooley, those years were the time he spent with his canine partner, Cody. I know he thoroughly enjoyed that. I remember seeing him out on the road helping, all the LaPorte County law enforcement departments with his partner, Cody. So back on May 20th, 2012, this letter was drafted by now Captain Andrew Heineck with the LaPorte County Sheriff's Department, Chief Sokowski and Long Beach Town Council. I want to take this opportunity to express my appreciation for recently retired Long Beach Police K-9 Cody. Over the course of my career, I had the ability to work alongside several police canines and their handlers, and I can tell you that Long Beach police officer James Schooley and his partner were one of the best teams. During my years in the patrol division, I can recall several occasions where I requested a canine and Cody and his partner were readily available and willing to assist. Cody is responsible for taking many drug users and dealers off the streets of LaPorte County and the communities within this county. Many of those cases I was present at. Officer Schooley always cared for and handled Cody in the most professional manner and was always being and also being a part-time officer for your town. I have seen Cody in a more relaxed atmosphere and observed what a great asset he is to the community members. Again, my hat's off to Officer Schooley and Cody on a great career with a long list of accomplishments. So I know, Jim, you had a great time with Cody, and I think it was only fitting tonight to kind of remember some of those years and say thank you for that as well. With that, Sergeant, if you could please join me. Chief Deputy Marshal James Schooley, congratulations on your retirement. Since January 2nd, 1998, you have served the Long Beach Police Department with the utmost dedicated public service and professionalism. Your years of service as a police officer have left a lasting impact on the Long Beach community, and 26 years of service are a true testimony of your dedication, exceptional work ethic, and exceptional public service. Congratulations on your much-deserved retirement, and enjoy the world of possibilities ahead of you. Enjoy having the time to do all the things you have always wanted to do. Best wishes for a happy and healthy future. And it's signed by the members of the current council and all members of the Long Beach Police Department. I'd like to present you with your retirement badge and your retirement ID. which you received tonight as well. So keep that with you at all times. And then a couple weeks ago, and this is tough for a lot of us, I know for Jim it's particularly tough because he was very close to Deputy Babcock. Dennis Babcock, the father of Toby Babcock, who was one of our deputy marshals who unfortunately passed away while on vacation. Dennis came in, met with me, and brought in this t-shirt for an event that was recently held in honor of Deputy Babcock. I thought it was only fitting that Chief Deputy Schooley have this shirt. So it has Toby's name on the front from the fundraiser, as well as his unit number on the sleeve, 503 at the time. So Jim, you can wear this as well, because I know you and Toby were very, very close. So thank you. All right.
Thank you very much. Before I give all the thank yous that I owe everybody, to those that offered their support and condolences following my father's death in February, thank you very much. On to the career. I thank the following. The town for the opportunity to serve, the people for their support, several families for opening their homes, not just to me, but for many of the officers out here. Examples of those are Jim and Roxanne Pendergast, Mary and Pat McDonald, Lenny and Nan and Brent Solar, and of course Fast Eddie and Mary Jean Zolkowski. Thank the town's employees, my chiefs, Jim Couch, Bob Zolkowski, and Mark. All the officers I worked with, notably Todd Lowe's, for his example and his guidance. All of the officers I've worked with, already said that. My instructors, especially our own Toby Babcock, who's one of my absolute favorites. Our new Sergeant and Corporal, Mitch Seitz and Matt Farley. They're both exceptional people and officers. Our two new hires, the other two Matts, Vopat and Disbro. Thanks for coming aboard. Town's in great hands. Yet, under Mark's tutelage, you've got 4 fantastic officers for a long time. But excellent department. Our reserves. I want everybody to remember that they accept the same responsibilities and risks as the full-timers. They do it for free. Shows their level of commitment to the community, and it says a lot about their character for them to do that. 2 of them, Tony Palmieri, he's got 17 years volunteering. Jeremy Van Giesen, 16 years volunteering. The other 3 we've got Tim Randy and Brandon and Rob Hughley. So if you see them out and about, say thanks. They're integral to our function, especially during the summer. Can't forget our unofficial reserve, Luca Palmieri. His parents, Tony and Renee. He's a pleasure to have been involved, to have involved out here, and is outstanding at community relations. I'm sure we've all seen that. My Long Beach dispatchers, Renee Richardson, Jim Hines, and Steve Fast. My county dispatchers, who are sadly underappreciated. Overall, they do an excellent job for everybody. Tim Costello and Patty Peeves for giving me my start in public service back in '91. My in-laws, Don and Carol Stedge. Don's retired Fort Wayne PD, so I got to lean on him throughout my career. My parents, Gail and Madeline Schooley. My siblings, Julie, Matt, Pat, deceased sister Dawn. And most important people, my incredible wife, Angela Schooley, and my house of daughters, Jocelyn, Alexandria, and Juliana. I thank them for their love, sacrifice, support, and understanding. That is all.
So as we close tonight, that's a clear example of Jim Schooley. He gives credit to everyone else, thanks everyone. It was like pulling teeth to get him here tonight. You know, when we first talked about this, he's like, I don't want anything, I don't need a celebration, I don't need recognition. That's the man that's truly served this community for nearly 3 decades. And as we close tonight, again, on behalf of the members of the Long Beach Police Department, I know I speak for all of us that we're very fortunate, very honored to work beside Chief Deputy Marshal Jim Schooley. For me personally, he's been extremely helpful. He's been a friend. He's helped me in my transition in my time here. And I could not be more grateful for everything that he's done for myself and for our staff. So again, enjoy retirement, much deserved. And we look forward to seeing you around. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We like having people. That's the audience.
Got Michelle or Jim always.
It's like the packed house. Right.
Police Department Commission, Chief Swistek.
Do we?
For the month of March, the Long Beach Police Department responded
Are there any
to
public comments?
417 calls.
I'm sorry, I forgot public comments. Do we have any public comments on Zoom? No, hearing none. Do we have any public comments in the audience?
No.
Okay. Chief Swistek, Police Department, Police Commission.
For the month of March, the Long Beach Police Department responded to 417 calls for service when compared to 271 in the previous year, for an increase of 146 calls for service. During the month, 9 incident reports were documented. A total of 7 individuals were arrested, 1 felony drug arrest, 1 felony resisting law enforcement and operating while intoxicated arrest, 2 misdemeanor arrests related to operating while intoxicated, 1 misdemeanor arrest for false informing, 2 misdemeanor arrests for driving with a suspended driver's license. Both deputies Bopat and Deputy Disbro have completed their training and are now assigned riding solo on the midnight shift. Both deputies have already made a huge impact to the department, and we hope that they have a very long and successful career with us, which attributes to the pretty much overall increase in calls for service. Both of our newest energetic deputies have been out stopping a lot of cars and making some traffic enforcement. So I'm very pleased with that, and they're both doing exceptionally well. Overall, there were no major incidents for the month, and we've been preparing for the quickly approaching summer. Hence, all ATVs have been serviced. We'll be pulling our police boat out of storage probably next week, bringing it back to the town hall, getting it ready for the water, and aside from that, all is well at the police department. Any questions?
Nope. Police Commission?
Police Commission did not meet this month. We did not have any new business before us.
Okay, Town Administrator, Chief?
For overall in the town, we're going to talk about tonight the spring leaf cleanup, the dates on that. That'll be coming up in the agenda. Lakeshore Drive has pretty much been completed as far as the water improvement project and the Stop 1718 stormwater improvement project. There is asphalt replacement work that needs to be done, restoration along Lakeshore Drive. I was told today that the asphalt plants should reopen in the next 1 to 2 weeks. As soon as they reopen, Woodruff's is prepared to get the asphalt replaced along Lakeshore Drive, going over the gravel that's temporarily in place at this time. We did watch a little over a week ago when we had that pretty heavy rainfall, and thus far, I have not received any complaints, and according to our street superintendent, it appears that the new catch basins in the Stop 1718 area are gathering water as was projected and have made a definite improvement to that area. And then our parks, we have began the spring cleanup there. Thank you to the town's team. They've been working in the various parks. They're beginning at Melrose Park here in the next couple of weeks. We've got some striping to do there. So overall cleanup at that park as well. And then we had the street sweeper out already once, and we'll have the street sweeper back out in the following weeks as well, as we began to remove snow plows, take the salt boxes off, getting ready for spring.
Thank you. Volunteer Fire Department, Dave?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I was just doing some simple math. This might be plus or minus the 164th town council meeting I made clarification fire department. 14 years as chief, but it's an honor to do it before this council. And this is a report of the activity through March 31st. We've had 19 fire calls to date, and that's in comparison to 7 the year before. 16 of the calls were in Long Beach, and 1 was Dune Beach as a mutual aid, and Michigan was a mutual aid call. The breakdown, we had CO detector calls, we had 1, and then 1 is a good intent call where we were helping a resident with their batteries in their CO detector. False alarm, we had 6. Our attendance per fire call still stands at 7. And I think it was mentioned maybe in the last council meeting, if we have a major situation, our attendance increases to probably 14 to 18. So 7 sounds small, but when we need the folks, they show up. Medical calls. 21 year to date, 23 the previous year. During the month, we had full arrests, 2 heart attack, 1 injury, 2 sick person, 2 unconscious victims, and 2 lift assists. And our average turnout for medical, 5 members. Response time for fire medical is within seconds, 4.44. And I think that's an important thing to know what that means. And as I was chief and still am proud of the fact that we have such great response times. And that's from the time 911 tones us out to the time we have an officer usually reporting to the scene before the equipment. And that is an amazing time frame. So we're very proud of that. Some of the other things that I'd like to just mention as far as what's going on. We have received from the Health Foundation a report, 3 new AEDs, a $6,000 value, and my notes say they should be, we'll receive them the week of April 9th. We've just completed for some of our newer members a hazmat certification class. And that has to be done before we start our firefighter 1 and 2 class, which is the state certification level that volunteer career fire departments have to have the certification from the state. The good news is we're planning a joint operation involving the beach, Lake Michigan, with the PD and the fire department, which is wonderful news. We did a coordination with LBBT to discuss incident command of Lake Michigan calls. I guess that's part of the joint project. And right now with the deal with school, we have a NIPSCO electric training class. And that is my report. Oh, members have donated for the first 3 months of the year 824 hours to the town. That concludes my report. Any questions?
I just have a quick comment. Actually, it's not a question, but thank you for talking about the service. I have a neighbor at the bottom of my driveway on Oakenwald who's on hospice, and the kids don't live here. They're 40s and 50s. And I was very proud to talk to all of them, and they were very grateful to know when their mom is here alone that they can call, and that you are so responsive, and they know some of the people on the fire department. So I'm just saying thank you, because for them it was another peace of mind when their mom is here alone.
I mean, that's one of the greatest feelings when we're helping someone that it's just tough when their family is somewhere else. A number of years ago, and I think we're trying to bring it back, especially during the winter, there's a program called the We Care program. And what we were doing was looking for people who, in situations where in a snowstorm, they maybe needed medication, food, they needed, just the comfort that someone could shovel and walk for. So that's the type of attitude and feelings that we share about this community. So to me, that is, it's one of the greatest feelings when you walk into Al's and someone walks up to you and just, they don't know who I am, they'll remember my face and say thank you for being there. So that's, and I want to say one other thing. I am so thrilled, and I said this to Mark today, the working relationship we have with the PD right now. In my 20 years, I've never experienced the level of cooperation, and it's due to that man sitting there. So the town is so lucky to have Mark as our town administrator and police chief. And Mark, thank you from myself and from the fire department.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
Well, the Fire Commission met last week. We basically discussed how everything's coming with the new public safety building. I think Shannon was going to work with Deanna to get a quote for cleaning.
Yes.
From the same people that clean this building. And we did discuss, I think, routine maintenance for HVAC. We're going to have to set something up for that, as everything will be under warranty for the next year, but just to keep in mind when we're doing our budget, we're going to have to set up something for maintenance for all that equipment over there. I think that was it, Shannon.
I think that sums it up.
Okay.
Was there a discussion about financing about the new truck?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, we did discuss financing the new truck.
That was on my notes, I just didn't want to bring it up.
Yeah. I don't have my notes with me, but yes, thank you. Public Works, Kendra?
Public Works did not meet in March, it was canceled.
Park Board, Kendra?
Park Board update is summer camp for the kids is June 17th to August 2nd, and Sarah is actively hiring counselors right now for that. So I'm sure there's still positions open. We're gonna have beach cleanup on April 20th. Zach is working in conjunction with Civic. Shannon Denny is the president of Civic, so they're working closely together to do that and coordinating flyers. Shannon's going to do that. Zach's going to promote it on Facebook, the bulletin boards, the community center, and Meg already agreed to send out an email blast to the town, so hopefully we'll get some more people to do beach cleanup. And Mark's already approved and involved, and last year they were a huge help with the police and the ATVs and the trailers that were attached to the ATVs to take up the huge tires and things like that. So we really couldn't do the beach cleanup without you guys, so thanks for that. And they're working on the memorial garden out there to kind of replant and beautify that. Have to work around the septic out there, so if they can get that done before July 4th, they'll do that. If not, they're just gonna wait until fall, so it's not disrupted during, the busiest times. And The last thing for May, we're gonna have on the agenda this, trees at Stop 29 that are encroached on town property. Just to have it on the agenda, so if anyone has any questions beforehand, let me know. I can walk you down there and show the area so that next meeting in May, you'll know more to visualize what we're talking about. But those trees will need to come out, and so we'll put that on the agenda for May, but they talked about that at the meeting, and that's it. Those are the highlights.
Thank you. Community Center, Anita?
Community Center did not have a meeting for April yet, but it's only April 8th, so we are very optimistic that something could happen in April.
Okay, thank you. Budget and Finance, Meg?
Budget and Finance met on Wednesday, April 6th for a little under 2 hours. And we discussed and updated the capital plan, which was the goal. We had scheduled a workshop, but kind of just decided to include it with the regular meeting, which I think was a good choice. Department heads were present, including Water Superintendent Greg Parrish and Street Superintendent Tom Dahl. And we went through each fund and the needs of the departments and the fire department and various other parts of our town were present. And Trista Hudson, our accountant, has since updated the capital plan to reflect the discussions that we had in the workshop. And capital plan has been distributed to the town council along with financials and projections. I didn't have a ton of time to review it yet, but I think with all the changes that everybody has taken on this year so far, that I think we will only get more efficient with our distributions of financials and updates and our goals of what we're trying to do. So I do see Trista on if you have anything to add, or if anyone has any questions related to the meeting that we had, feel free. Otherwise, that's all I have. Nothing, okay.
Okay.
Trista, nothing from Trista.
Trista, nothing?
She's going.
Oh, no, I have nothing to add. I think Meg covered the meeting well. You have copies that she mailed earlier, so happy to answer any questions if need be from there.
Does anybody have any questions?
Nope. He's
Okay.
next.
Human Resources, JD.
Yeah, we met in March, we had a good meeting and continue to make progress through the handbook, as we will in April and in May.
Thank you. Tree Board, Anita.
Tree Board, there was no meeting.
This is looking better and better. Building Commission met on March 22nd. We welcomed the new building inspector, Carter Barabbas. I think he'll be a great addition to the team. Training will resume on the building department software next week. 2234 Lakeshore Drive was approved for stairs to the beach. 3007 Moore Road wants to do some landscaping. They need to go to the BZA because they're already well over 30%, 35% coverage. And 2303 Hazeltine was doing some landscaping and hardscaping that was approved. Any questions? Okay, the BZA met on March 12th. They had a preliminary hearing for 1610 Nichols Court, which was continued to the April meeting due to an incomplete packet. And they had a public hearing, which was concluded for 3007 Loma Portal. The rear setback variance for the patio was removed from the plan, but would have been denied. And the front setback variances and the HVAC location variance were approved. And their next meeting is on 4/17.
Actually, I'll just interject. The April meeting, BZA has been canceled, so the next meeting will be in May.
Oh, okay. I take that back. Next meeting will be in May. APC, Anita.
APC did not meet in March, but we are meeting on Monday, April 17th.
Building revenue report for March, Meg?
Reminder, there were 20 permits issued totaling $513,987 with revenues of $65.50. 5 electric permits issued in March totaling $608. Legal expenses paid $6,437.50 to Brady Nelson James. County charges paid in March $5,756.48 to Fender and Company. The lobbyist, the second payment, $6,250 to the Cordon Group LLC. And could I please have a motion to approve those?
Motion to approve? I'll second.
Any questions?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And motion carries. Thanks.
Public safety building progress. Chief?
To date, the public safety building is about 98% completed. The only thing really left is a few minor things to include the major cleanup. The cleaning personnel started this last Saturday. They will be back Thursday. They have a couple more days of the interior cleaning before the building will be ready to be occupied. This Friday at the building commission meeting at 1 p.m. Before the building commission will be the request for a temporary occupancy permit for the public safety building. This will be for the use of both police and fire staff to utilize the building for storage and for other operations, but not to include any of the sanitary septic needs or any of the water usage in any of the public restroom areas. So if anyone's interested in that, that'll be this Friday at the building commission meeting. All of you received an email last week on the update as far as our application for septic. We'll be meeting with soil scientist John McQuestion and his staff this Wednesday at noon to conduct some excavation in 3 various points. 1 outside the town hall, 2 points across the street. We'll be looking for the current sanitary line to get some elevations that is necessary for them to complete the final design work. And then they will have the final design and our application for the state completed the first week of May, submitted back to the State of Indiana Health Department. They then have a 30 to 90 day turnaround, and I would hope to hear something back before the 90 days, but if not, it probably would be towards August before we would hear about our final application. And then once we get our permit back, obviously we've got to seek quotes. And then once the quotes are opened at the town council level, then the bids would have to be awarded, and then the contractor would have to start construction. So at the earliest, I would say we're probably October, November before they're underway with installing the septic system for the public safety building, which will be a standalone system for that building, not tied into the current town hall septic system. So, any questions?
Do you think that when they come out this Wednesday, they'll have a general idea of where this is going to be? Like, will they be able to mark off and say, okay, the Park Board's Memorial Garden has to be east of here?
Yes, great question. And I personally called Janice Brown, had a phone conversation with Janice Brown. Janice is going to meet with us Wednesday at noon so we can walk and stake off the area for Janice as well.
Okay.
So I wanted to make sure that we included her. But yes, she will be here on Wednesday.
Okay, that's great.
And anybody else that would like to join us, you're more than welcome to join us across the street Wednesday at noon. Thank you.
Thank you. The MS4 ordinance. For the benefit of the residents, I just want to say what this MS4 ordinance is, since it's on our agenda every month. The MS4 is an ordinance mandated by the state so the town can manage the quantity and quality of the effluent that is charged into our stormwater system. We've all gotten the ordinance, I've read it. It's a little beyond my skill set. And Larry, who is our MS4 coordinator, he has a couple of issues that he would like to look at first and discuss with Chris. So I think this should be tabled until next month, until we get Larry's approval on it, would be my opinion.
Agreed.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Second reading of the adding Title 9, Chapter 90, Section 90.07, prohibition against feeding deer.
Yep, so, I'll just reread the ordinance, so everyone, because I think that's what I need to do, is reread it, right?
Doesn't need to be read in its
Oh.
entirety.
All right, then I won't, unless, does anyone need me to read it, or is there a motion to approve the ordinance? I did not make any changes to it from the first reading from last month. Does anyone want it reread?
When do I have a comment after the motion is made?
So if,
Yeah,
make a motion to approve.
yes. Make a motion to
Make a
approve and
motion
somebody
to
second
approve.
comments.
Okay, great, there's a motion, any comments?
I do have one comment, and...
Hold on, Chris wants to.
Oh,
Is there a motion?
who had to second? Oh, sorry, I thought someone did.
I'll second for discussion.
My comment is that, again, I want it to be clear to the residents that this is an ordinance, a prohibition against intentional feeding of deer. And I would like intentional added in the title because people don't always read through an ordinance. And there was a quick discussion with legal counsel where there was, I believe, mention of other additions of intentional. I'm willing to let that go, but I think it really needs to be key that this is intentionally feeding the deer. This isn't an issue to add on to Chief Swistek and the department to go out and ticket people and fine people. What we're trying to do is come up with some ideas of how to reduce the deer population. And this is a great idea. I just think that it's very important that it be a prohibition against intentionally feeding deer. And a quick discussion with our legal counsel, he indicated that this could still be passed tonight. So I would certainly like to see that added into at least the title of the ordinance.
I don't have a problem with that. I think it's probably a good idea. And we can pass this tonight on second reading, saying we would add that word.
Sure, those who made a motion in second could amend those if that would be the preference. Right now, they're on the table as passing it as is. If you, on second reading, the motion was to pass it on second reading with that change, that can occur tonight. And then between the clerk's office and I will get an updated version for signature.
Okay, I'm fine with that. So I think, so we would just have, it says in the ordinance adding Title 9, Chapter 90, Section 90.7, prohibition against intentionally feeding deer. We'll add intentionally up there in the title. And it is already several times in the body of it too, so I think we're good there. So if there's...
As long as the motion and the second
Yeah,
are amended, that's all.
Okay, can we get is there a second?
Well, Shannon will have to.
Shannon has to amend her motion.
Yeah, so I amend the motion to approve adding intentional into the title
And pass it on second.
and pass it.
Then, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, Joyce.
That's Joy's job.
Okay, so excited.
I'm telling you, Kendra, this is really personal.
Yes, I understand. All in favor?
It's so fun.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, with that change, the ordinance passes. New business, spring beef collection.
This is the annual contract for Dan Healy, Healy's Landscaping. The price is the same as in previous years, $5,000 for 1 week for spring leaf collection here in the town of Long Beach. The dates will commence on Monday, April 22nd. They will complete the cleanup on Friday, April 26th. Now, what that means for the residents of Long Beach is that your leaves have to be at the edge of your property, edge of the roadway, not on the roadway, prior to Monday, April 22nd. What we typically see in the spring and fall leaf collection is that people will rush out during the week that we're cleaning up, and they will try and put their leaves out in the middle of the week. Well, if we've already come through your neighborhood, we're gonna miss you. And then I often get complaints about that. So all the leaves need to be out at the end of Sunday, April 21st, for us to collect them throughout the week. And then just a reminder, no large items, no sticks, no limbs, because it will damage the leaf collection machines for the town. So just asking for a motion to approve the contract for $5,000 for spring leaf cleanup.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Haas and Associates, Stop 1718 Project Invoice 2023336-10, $21,904.88 for approval.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Haas and Associates 2022-1 CCMG OPC and St. Lawrence Ave Improvement. Invoice number 2, $10,440.45 for payment approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Haas and Associates 2024-2 CCMG Road Improvement Project. Is there something we have to approve on this, or was it just a list of the roads?
No, actually we do. So last week, Budget and Finance met during the capital discussion. We discussed setting aside in this calendar year, 2024, $75,000 for engineering costs and for the PACER submittal to the state of Indiana. What the PACER submittal is, it's the averaging of our road conditions that has to be submitted to the state of Indiana so that the state has our PACER rating, and then we can apply for grant funding. So we would like to apply for the second call for the 2024 paving grant with the Community Crossing grant program. We have spoke to Trista Hudson. We have asked for $75,000 this year, $650,000 in next year's capital outlay, which will cover the cost of engineering, construction management, and the 25% match that the town will be obligated to. The paving for next year would include 13 individual roadways, that's 13 divisions, for a total of $1,775,254.86. And Trista is with us tonight, so I'm going to lean on Trista to advise the council if the capital plan has the funds that will accommodate the request for 2024 and 2025, and then we would need a motion and a vote tonight to allow Haas and Associates to begin the process of completing our final application for submittal, which has to be in by August. So we want to give Haas enough time to prepare their engineering and grant. So Trista, reference to funding.
As Mark referenced, we did include the $75,000 for engineering related fees in this year's capital plan, with the town's responsibility next year also included in the capital plan, that being the 25% plus the remaining engineering fees that the town will need to pay. In total, the capital plan for 2024 is about $100,000 shy of revenue, but I do think that that number in comparison to the overall list of projects is still, that it's not a detriment, one, to this decision, or two, to the overall plan. I think that there are a few things that are probably overestimated a little bit, and we simply just need to keep a watch as we move through the year, as various projects and items come then into place for final approval, and make any small adjustments as we go. For next year, right now, the revenue is well well, the revenue is more than what the capital plan lists by about $60,000. So there's often movement from one year to the next, and those two numbers I do see balancing out. I don't have any hesitation at all in suggesting that you move forward with this project.
I'm not sure what we need here.
Here, it's a motion, is it a motion to
Authorize,
authorize the 75,000 for the engineering of the,
no, just a motion to authorize Haas and Associates to move forward with submitting our CCMG application for 2024 for the second call. And it'll just authorize them to move forward. And then the funding, we don't need an approval on that tonight, just authorization for the application to be submitted to the state for the grant in hopes of receiving the grant.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
a second?
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Haas and Associates Water Services Replacement, invoice number 8, $1,229.45 for payment approval.
Make a motion to approve?
Second for discussion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Holiday Construction Group, Long Beach Public Safety Building, invoice number 12, $168,300 for payment approval.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 4th of July festivities.
We just wanted to get this on the calendar early so we can get the notifications out to all of our residents in Long Beach. We have reached out to the Long Beach Civic, reached out to the Long Beach Volunteer Fire Department, confirmed that the ice cream social will take place on the evening of July 3rd, the 4th of July festivities to include the parade at 10 a.m. and the fireworks at dusk on July 4th are all a go with a tentative July 5th rain date for the fireworks. So we're just looking for authorization to allow the various organizations to move forward with the July Summerfest activities.
I'll make a motion to do that, to allow Civic and the Volunteer Fire Department to proceed with those dates.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, 2023 Annual Financial Report Distribution to Council Members. Is that the one we just got today?
I don't know what that is. I didn't get it today.
It came late in the evening.
This is not what you received today, so
Right.
this is what Tristan and I helped me complete for a March deadline. And it's March deadline. Was it March?
Just to distribute.
If February deadline. Just your own copy to have on record that you received it.
Thank you, Meg.
Thank you, Meg. First reading ordinance, additional appropriations.
Okay, so what also came out of our budget meeting is that we're looking at some of our accounts and with the capital outlay plan that we needed to do some additional appropriations. So Krista helped me and we did this together. I think that you could probably better explain its purpose, Trista, since your group, if you are so willing.
Sure. And I feel like, first of all, I'm kind of ghost here on the Zoom. I apologize for what my lighting in the background's doing, but the point is that you can hear my voice, I think, more importantly. So, small, quick education for those that just aren't familiar with having done this before. Additional appropriation is a particular procedure mandated by state statute that if the governing body, such as yourselves, wants to spend more money than what the original budget had listed, that you need to go through this process called the additional appropriation. You are adding appropriation or adding budget values to your budget. The point of it really is that it gives a similar process to what the original budget approval did, which is 2 different hearings, one of which is a public hearing. If you pass it tonight on first reading, we will then set it for a second reading at the May meeting, which will include a public hearing opportunity for any members of the public that may want to comment on it, just like you would have done during the original budget passage. Into the specifics then of this particular ordinance, I'll run through quickly what each fund is listed for in the request and why. The general fund, we're suggesting that you add $35,500 to the budget. That's really because a few things have come up that weren't planned for, such as the election cost. Again, the lobbyist fee that had been paid last year, but somehow missed conversation during the budget planning. So while those bills have been paid and are being paid, this additional appropriation of $35,000 would use a little bit of your cash balance to then make sure that the entire budget is, I guess, kind of put back where it was before those bills came in, if you want to classify it that way. Then several of these funds is simply pulling the cash balance value into the budget per the capital plan. We did not originally at budget time know exactly how the capital plan would balance out for this year. And so we wanted to make sure that those decisions were made before these monies were added to the budget. Motor Vehicle Highway number 2201, Fund 2201, is the $25,000. Motor Vehicle Restricted, Fund 2203, another $25,000. Each of those funds have the cash balance. It is typically that purple color that I've done on the fund projection for you to see how that pulls through. And these things have all been discussed with Budget Finance Committee. Riverboat Fund, similar situation. Again, cash balance is available. It all ties back into the capital plan. I'm going to skip over police donation for just a moment. We'll come back to it. CCD and Water Fund, also the exact same reason. These are monies simply that are coming from your cash balance to be able to put into the funding for the budget for the capital plan. Stormwater is the same situation. The stormwater seems like a large amount of money. I promise you that the cash balance is there and that it has been building for the purpose of some of these larger projects. Obviously, the Stop 1718 is one of those larger projects. Circling back then to finish up as to the police donation fund, you see $15,000 listed there. In this particular example, there is not quite yet cash balance to cover this full amount of $15,000. However, because there is public notice needed and then the public hearing to be had, when we do the additional appropriation, we wanted to make sure that we only need to do that one time for things that are imminently expected. So Mark has talked already about some of the plans with this police donation money. He has, I think, received a donation and is expecting 2 more. Mark, you can correct that if that was wrong. And he thought that he may have about $13,000 or $13,500 in incoming donations to then be able to put back toward the planned expenses. We wanted to put just a little bit extra in there in case the donation revenue came in a little bit higher, which would allow Mark then to be able to spend that money without coming back for this process all over again for, say, $1,000. It is appropriate and legal for you to approve this now without seeing that cash first, because it is well expected to happen. If we didn't fully expect it to happen, then we would not be suggesting you can do this procedure. Certainly, Mark knows, and you'll see in the financials, that he cannot overspend money in the fund. So if the cash comes in at $14,500, then that's the entirety of what he has available to spend. You are allowed to approve more than what's in the cash. But then just like when you balance your checkbook at home, you only can go buy the groceries that you have the money to be able to get to the grocery store. So I don't foresee any problems with any of this, but I wanted you to understand that if you look at that fund today, that 15,000 is not there quite yet. So that was a lot, all very quickly. Happy to answer any questions that you have.
Anybody have any questions?
This is approval for first reading.
Yes, first reading.
I would move to approve on the first reading, additional appropriation ordinance 2024-blank.
Second?
Any discussion?
I'll just make one, would it be okay, Meg, if we were to put this up on the website just for viewers before we allow for a second vote next month?
I think, Trista, that's probably good practice. Is that, it's public record, or what's your opinion on that?
Absolutely. Once it's presented here, certainly during the meeting, absolutely available for public review. And
Actually, I will put more of the financials on the website as well.
Okay, but if this is going to go to final vote next month, it would be helpful. That way we'll have any comments they want in the beginning of next month's meeting.
Sure.
So questions that would come up that would pertain, so.
And if I might, Council President, the only thing I would really strongly suggest is that as ordinances are presented to you during a meeting, that they receive a number at the beginning. In this example, the reason for my strong suggestion on that is that we need to take this now and put a notice in the newspaper for it. And so it needs to be fully identifiable to distinguish it from any other ordinance that is happening during the course of your meetings, either last month or next month. So at a minimum, I would ask you today to get a number assigned to it so that the clerk treasurer can get it published properly in the newspaper for the May meeting.
There's no number on the deal, right, for which number we're on. So I will talk with Deanna. I know she likes them to be more, or Chris, do we just pick?
You need one tonight.
You-
So I don't know where you are in the realm to date.
Repeal, 1, Deer, 2, this is 3.
Well, Deere doesn't have a number item.
But if
I don't know what other ordinances have been passed though this year, because that's generally what it goes, right?
if I recall, those would be.
So 4. Is that 2024-04?
04.
It is.
I'm not positive,
We can always amend, can't we? I mean, we could call it right now so that we know it tonight.
Well, it's important for, as Trista, as,
for notice, yeah, roll call. I think it can only be 4th, right?
Yes.
So let's go with 404, 2024-04, and we will remember that going forward.
I'm going to back up and say, I think there's only been 3. She had these.
So this would be the 4th, right?
No. This would be 3rd, right? If Deere is 2, this would be 3, and
So let's be
previous is.
safe in case we don't know.
Yeah.
And then we can circle
You
back.
can always come back and add a 3 in.
Just for, give a little.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. That's all we have on the agenda. Do we have any council comments?
Okay, claims approval for March 2024. Town checks number 20574 to 20660, totaling $238,097.38. Wire checks number 54946 to 54972, totaling $455,856.05. March payroll of $124,275.83. I would ask for a motion to approve these totals.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
I second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
8:05, you guys.
Don't be
Took
quick.
off.
Good job.